What's up, everybody? Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well on this Tuesday with the first week of football finally, truly, officially in the books now. We can all start to mentally push towards week two, start thinking about the Patriots, start thinking about those week two games. But before we get to tomorrow, before we get to the true, I would call it like the NFL hump day, that last day before the week starts with the Thursday night football game, I want to kind of do a rooting guide recap or a rooting guide post-mortem, where you just look back at the results of the most recent week and you kind of evaluate what's going on in the league right now as it affects the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, we're in week one, so a lot of these games either have zero impact or have impact that will not be known until a later date. But it's still good to go through the results and see how things are shaping up in the NFL as a whole. So obviously the Seahawks win their week one game, so that in and of itself is a positive result. But how did the other results of the week go into the picture that makes up the current disposition of the Seahawks and their fans right now? So let's start with the Thursday night game, although let's actually not really, because this game has no real effect on the Seahawks at all, and I don't think it ever will. Ravens, Chiefs win. I don't think that has any impact on the Seahawks. Some people were saying we wanted the Ravens defense to look bad because it would mean that Mike McDonald was a big loss for them, but I mean, that's not really anything tangible, right? I don't think I agree with that one. I don't think there's anything real there, so nothing there. Friday night's game, however, was very impactful for the Seahawks. I don't know how the Eagles won this game, but they did. And Jordan Love got hurt at the end of the game, which, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but the Packers are not going to be able to survive with Malik Willis at quarterback. I don't feel like they're going to be able to win a game with him. And for the moment, they're going to rock with him. Maybe they bring in Tannehill in the next week or two. But even if they do, what's he going to be able to do when he gets into the building and immediately has to go play a live NFL game? Like, there's going to be such a quick turnaround. I I don't know if there's much of anything the Packers can do except wait for Love to get back. And by the time Love gets back, they're probably going to be like 0-5 or something. So I'm pretty bearish on the Packers right now. It kind of feels like they're already sunk. And even though the Eagles won and the Eagles are nominally an NFC threat, I don't know. I'm not really buying what they're selling. I think Jalen Hurts looked awful. And I don't think the things that they've leaned on in previous years are going to work the way that they need them to work in order to have great success. So, I don't know. I think that from a Seahawks perspective, you're looking at this game and you're thinking, okay, the Packers are basically sunk, and the Eagles, I mean, they looked good in some areas. I'm not saying that's a bad team, but I'm not really buying what they're selling in terms of them being a true contender. All right, so Sunday, Steelers Falcons was low key very, very crucial here. Not only did the Falcons take the L, which we very much wanted, they didn't look very good. They lost a game they really had no business losing. They lost to a team that did not score a touchdown. They offensively looked pretty inept. Kirk Cousins looked a little bit, how should I put this? Somewhere between past his prime and washed up, somewhere in the middle of those two states. So I'm not sure now about them. I was kind of high on Atlanta this year, but playing at home against the Steelers with their backup quarterback, maybe the backup quarterback's better than the starter. Some people will argue that, I know, but neither guy is. I mean, that's just an indictment on the starter more than the backup. So yeah, I don't know about Atlanta right now, and if they're sunk, that's another team in the NFC that I had my eye on that may not be worth keeping an eye on. And I know some people are going to say maybe they go to Penix, and that could maybe improve things if Cousins is truly shot, but that's still going to be a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks don't tend to start for true Super Bowl contenders. It's very rare. Cardinals Bills kind of escaped one here. Cardinals went up big early. Bills came back and won. Um, I don't know what to read into this one personally. Maybe the Cardinals are just always going to be that team that plays close in almost every game but constantly loses. That's what they were last year. They really struggled to win games even though they were constantly competitive, even against really good teams. And this year they start the season the same way. So maybe they're just always going to be that team that looks like they're 1 year away, but they're actually just never going to get there. They're always chasing that green light across the lake, but they never actually get to it. I don't know. Titans Bears, that did not go the way we wanted in the second half. Titans obviously took a big lead. They looked completely in control. And then the second half was a complete disaster where they really gave the game away. Obviously, we wanted the NFC team to lose. I don't know how seriously we should take the Bears as a threat. I will say the fact that they could win a game with their quarterback playing that poorly and their offense producing that little is kind of a vote of confidence in their favor, right? If they can win that game, what kind of games are they going to be able to win when they get competent quarterback play, which I'm sure is coming. Even if Caleb isn't good, he's going to eventually have some good games. Everyone has good games eventually. So keep an eye on the Bears as like a little bit of a sleeper here, especially if Green Bay's knocked out in that division. If the Vikings eventually get knocked out, which I suspect they will be, then keep an eye on these Bears, man. They won a game they should have lost, and in the NFL, that's huge because you only play 17 of them. Patriots, Bengals, low stakes here for the Seahawks, but we played the Patriots this year, so the strength of schedule meant we wanted the Patriots to win. Also, we wanted the Patriots to get their first win out of the way now, so that when we play them, they're not chasing they're not looking over their shoulder at the shadow of 0-2. Now they're probably going to be feeling themselves a little bit after winning a game that everyone expected them to lose, and also we're not going to take them lightly. If they had started 0-1 and gotten blown out by the Bengals, maybe the Seahawks roll in there on Sunday and take them lightly after they win their first game. I don't think you can do that. So, good result here. Texans, Colts, this was another one that I really couldn't find much of an angle on. We don't play either team this year. We don't deal with anything going on in the AFC right now. The effect of this game, whatever it may be, is unknown as of right now, so I don't think this meant anything. Jaguars, Dolphins, I said we wanted the Dolphins to win, so the Dolphins have at least one win when they play us in week 3, and also because we play the Dolphins, so we want the strength of schedule to be a little bit stronger, and we don't play Jacksonville. That's really the only angle on this game I could find. It's very thin, but if you want to be strict about it, we wanted Miami to win, objectively speaking. Panthers, Saints, I did say that I thought the Saints would be a little better than the Panthers this year, so I wanted the Panthers to win, but I mean, I still don't think the Saints are going to be good this year. I'll put it to you that way. I still don't think the Saints are going to be any good. I think that this was just a product of the opponent, and I don't really have too much more to say about it other than that. Like, it wasn't. I guess it wasn't very realistic for Carolina to ever win this game anyway. So I was just kind of speaking on a technical level. The stakes are not high enough yet. We need to see what the Saints are going to do against better teams. I don't buy that team, but maybe they'll be better than I'm expecting. Vikings, Giants, the Seahawks played both teams this year, so the only real impact of this game was whichever team you think will be worse, you would want to win. And I will say, I did think the Vikings would be a worse team than the Giants this year. That's looking a little silly now, though, right? Like, how can I look at that game and say, oh, I think the Vikings are going to compete for the number 1 overall pick? I can't really say that anymore, right? Like, they went into New York and dominated them. They're clearly better than the Giants. They're clearly better than a team like the Panthers. So, yeah, the Giants look like the team that's headed right for the bottom here. It looks like they're going to be competing for that number 1 overall pick. So, we'll see where things sit in a month. We won't know for sure, but sure looks like the Vikings are going to be at least a little bit better than I thought. And I didn't think the Giants would be good, but it looks like they're going to be a lot worse than even I thought. Raiders, Chargers, this game didn't really mean anything. I got nothing there. Cowboys, Browns, AFC on NFC. You always want the AFC to win, and it didn't happen this week, not even close. And Cowboys look like they're going to continue to be a problem in the regular season, and that's not nothing. I do kind of think they're going to win their division right now, so that's not necessarily a direct competitor to the Seahawks, but you never know. It's possible that Philly's for real, and then Philly and Dallas are going to duke it out, and whoever doesn't win the division probably gets a wild card spot, which is not ideal, but you're going to have other good teams in the conference, so it's not like this is anything shocking. Commanders, Buccaneers win. kind of feels like if Kirk Cousins doesn't get his feet underneath him, Tampa Bay is just going to run away with that division. Even if they're not a great team, they're going to be good enough. And that obviously doesn't put them in direct competition with the Seahawks in all likelihood. But I did still want the Commanders to sneak away with one here because I do look at that Commanders team as a team that will not possibly compete for anything this year. We don't play either team, by the way, so there's no strength of schedule argument here. So I wouldn't have minded Tampa Bay getting sent to an 0-1 early season start, but relatively low stakes. Not low stakes was Rams-Lions. We got a big win from the Lions here in OT. It was a game that not only did the Rams lose the battle, they may have already lost the war because their entire offensive line and Puka are now beat up. So that could end up having a bigger impact than any other game the Seahawks played this week, with the exception of their own. So the Lions getting the win is nice. We have really appreciated this. This was the perfect capper to the Sunday action. And yeah, I made a video about it already, but you got to wonder, are those Rams just kind of, are they sunk? I kind of feel like they are. That offensive line was going to be asked to do a lot this year protecting Stafford because he is an older, more injury-prone quarterback at this point, and now it's a mash unit. And then finally, Monday, we did not get the desired result. 49ers took care of it against the Jets. Jets could not stop the run at all. That's the main thing that stuck out to me in that game. Niners did not miss McCaffrey at all, which is a further vote of confidence in favor of Kyle Shanahan being the excellent coach that he is. You have to pull out a lot of Jenga pieces to make the tower fall over. You pull out a couple, they're fine. The tower's staying up. But no moss there, and that's it for the first week. See you guys later. Go Hawks.